Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We got a lot of good conversations going on during the break.
Don't want to talk to
unfortunately, unfortunately, we're gonna have to temper it for another time because we need to get out of the show. But I want to just take this opportunity to thank everybody who joined us today. I want to thank everybody that's listening to us on MixLR. We see y'all still there listening to us. Y'all been real patient waiting on the rants and the closings. We appreciate it. I want to thank my little sister Net for helping to promote the show and getting some notes out there so people can know where to find us. I want to thank K-Dub for joining us for the full first hour and doing the basketball segment. I want to thank Larry for calling in. He always listens to us. I want to thank my man T Hunt for listening. I want to thank everybody that was listening to us in Jersey and Richmond. I want to thank everybody that's got us down in Atlanta. And I've seen the lights on in Phoenix, Arizona, that far away. So we had a wide-ranging show. And, of course, the lights were on in Henning, Tennessee tonight. So I want to thank everybody for listening to us on Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. And I want to special thank Miss Beverly Johnson of the Alex Haley Museum and Interpretive Center, the program coordinator down there in Henning, Tennessee, for joining us on the show and giving us information about her cousin Alex Haley and that family and all of the wonderful things that you can find by going to Henning, Tennessee and checking out the museum there. So definitely want to thank her for joining us, and a special thanks to comedian Lissa P for joining us. It's always a better show when she is a part of it, and so it's definitely good to see her again and thank her for bringing her unique brand of funny and sexy to the show. And of course, Jay Grizzy Green,
El Negro Grizzo tonight.
El Negro Grizzo tonight. So we want to thank him for joining us as well. So at this time of the show, we always go through and we do our rants and our closings. And surprisingly, for the first time, we don't have Carlton Banks with us, so it won't be unusual. We won't be smashing, and we have no big rule. But I think the two that we have with me here tonight will definitely hold it down just as good as they would have. Comedian Lissa P, what you got going on, girl?
Yes, sir. First of all, as always, thank you. Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J for always inviting the First Lady back.
Yeah.
Yes, that's sexy. Ow, ow. Ow, ow. Jay Grizzy Green, my brother. I always love you. Hey, look for us. We're going to be doing things together in the near future.
Of course.
Also got the new blog coming out. Look for that beginning of spring, early April. Look for us to be doing shows around town, myself along with Jay Grizzy Green. And also just support the art in Richmond City. Things are going on big here, so look out for us. Thank you again. Appreciate you.
You got it. Ain't no half step with Marcus J, comedian Lissa P, the first lady ever to join us on these airwaves.
I can't do that.
And we appreciate her being here. Jay Grizzy Green, what you got, man? You got Grizzy's gripes, man.
I'm gonna get Grizzy gripes, and it's gonna piggyback off of the last segment. I'm gonna get 2 minutes off of this.
Take your time, brother.
What I want to say about the whole Christopher Dorner situation is that we might not agree, but we understand. That's the whole synopsis of it. Some, especially black folk, we don't have to disagree, but we understand. You know, look at the OJ situation. We don't agree, but we understand. You know, I ain't gonna go with this DC sniper situation. We don't understand that. We don't get that, Joe. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But certain things happen where we disagree, but we understand. And that's just because of the nature of black folk in this country. You know, some people, what we call in between the margins. And that Dorner cat may be in between the margins. You know what I'm saying? Where he got let loose and we don't know the situation. We don't know the background. We don't know it. But if you look at FBI statistics and all these other statistics about crime and all these mass shootings, usually we ain't the ones doing it. So when we do it, when I say we talking about black folk. I ain't even gonna say African American. If African American go off, we don't agree with it, but we understand. And that's Jay Grizzy Green gripe right there.
That's Grizzy's gripes. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Thank you so much.
You're welcome
for joining us, and thank you for the gripe. I mean, it was good, man. I agree with you, and I think I don't typically rebut folks when they do their rants, and I won't start now, but I think that we do agree that folks can get pushed to that breaking point, and when that happens, hell hath no fury, male or female. So it is what it is. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. I'm going to go ahead and take an opportunity. I think I already did all my thank yous and stuff, so I won't take up any more of the time. I'll just kind of go ahead and start my rant. And as I talked a lot in recent weeks about what this month is. Of course, it's Black History Month, and I had mentioned that every single rant that I do this month will have some sort of Black history hint to it. And of course, this week is no different. And of course, oftentimes when we talk about Black History Month, we talk about the many men who have made an indelible impact on the world. But far too often, the story of the impact made by Black women is left untold. So I'd like to share a few thoughts about the amazing impact that some of our sisters have made on history, Black history, and of course, American history. And I open up this month in the first rant that I did with a tribute to Rosa Parks on what would have been her 100th birthday. And as a youth, we're taught about the indomitable spirit of Harriet Tubman, who led the Underground Railroad. And of course, she's famous for once saying that she freed 1,000 slaves and would have freed more if only they would have knew that they were slaves. And I always like that quote because it speaks to the problem of fear and brainwashing that was prevalent then and certainly still is now. I've always been somewhat drawn to leaders who persevere in the face of dire straits just when no one thinks you can do it, and it's the sisters that I want to highlight tonight that fit just that bill. First person I want to talk about is Maggie L. Walker. She's from right here in Richmond, Virginia, and she was the first female bank president and the first woman to charter a bank in the United States. She was the first woman of any color. As a leader, she achieved successes with the vision to make tangible improvements in the way of life of blacks and women. Disabled by paralysis and limited to a wheelchair later in life, Walker also became an example for people with disabilities. And as great as Harriet Tubman and Maggie Walker were, honestly, my favorite Black History Month females are actually the widows of three of the most celebrated men in Black history. I'm talking about Myrlie Evers, Betty Shabazz, and Coretta Scott King. Their impact and their legacy on our culture is immeasurable to me. Consider this. 3 Black women in the climate of the 60s see their husbands all murdered by a gun. They all had small children, and they were all stay-at-home moms. Their husbands gave their lives to the cause, and by all accounts spent little time at home, because of it. And when they were murdered, their widows were tasked with carrying on their dreams, raising their children, and living their own lives. They were thrust upon single parenthood in the most abrupt and violent of ways. And not only did they overcome, they each did and became revered civil rights leaders in their own right. Mrs. Evers, of course, pursued her husband's killer for 30 years, culminating in his murder conviction, all while continuing her education and rising to the rank of chairperson of the NAACP. And like Mrs. Evers, Betty Shabazz was forced to the head of her household because of the murder of her husband, raising 6 girls while going to school and earning a doctorate, becoming an associate professor of health sciences with a concentration in nursing, ironically, at New York's Medgar Evers College. And Coretta Scott King, of course, was driven so much that she worked for 20 years to see to it that her husband's work culminated in a national holiday. An activist in her own right, her works towards equal rights for the LGBT community and her opposition towards apartheid highlight her influence in history. So we got Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Maggie Walker, Myrlie Evers, Betty Shabazz, and Coretta Scott King. Mothers, activists, freedom fighters, educators, and business owners, every bit as important as their male counterparts. And tonight I salute them and the many more sisters who have done great work, contributing to the legacy of the history of blacks. That's the Marcus's unrelated rant, and it got nothing to do with what we're here talking about tonight. It's the end of the show. I want to thank once again everybody for being a part of it. I want everybody to remember, independence is essential to building your own legacy. I want to say peace to all the stars and all the squares. In the words of Bob Marley, the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Be back here on MixLR, where we'll be every single week. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Be back next week. Peace.